Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are once again in hybrid format, this time at our house, and with some wonderful devotees here. Thank you all for joining. So we will start with our Mangalacharan prayers. So I will share my screen and then we can get started. Okay. Om
Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Dadati Swadantikam
Vandeham
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnava
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam
Sadvaitam
Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Chaitanya
Devam
Shri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Padan
Krishna
Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan
Vishakan Vidamscha
Namo
Namo
Vishnupadaya
Vishnupadaya Krishna
Krishnapristhaya
Prishtaya
Bhutale
Bhutale
Srimate
Srimate
Bhaktivedanta
Bhaktivedanta
Swami Niti
Swami Niti
Namine
Namine
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati
Saraswati
Devi
Devi
Gauravani
Gauravani
Pracharini
Pracharini
Nirvishesha
Nirvishesha
Shunyavadi
Sunyavadi
Pashatya
Paschatya
Desatarini
Deshatarini
He
He
Krishna
Krishna
Karuna
Karuna
Sindhu
Sindho
Dinabandhu
Dinabandho
Jagatpate
Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopesha
Gopika
Gopika
Kanta
Kanta
Radha
Radha
Kanta
Kanta
Namostate
Namostute
Tapta
Tapta
Kanchana
Kanchana
Gaurangi
Gaurangi
Radhe
Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari
Vishabhanu
Vrishabhanu
Sute
Sute
Devi
Devi
Pranamami
Pranamami
Haripriye
Haripriye
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
Kripa
Sindhubhya
Sindhubhya
Evacha
Evascha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyah
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namaha.
Jaya
Jai
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Sri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda
Gaurabhakta
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama Rama
Rama, Rama
Rama Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, now I will share the slides and we will recite the invocation verses or the for the Srimad Bhagavatam. So once again, the picture of Sri Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, another picture, and then the retelling of Srimad Bhagavatam by Sri Suta Goswami to the Shaunaka and other rishis. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So earlier we didn't used to do a follow and like a repeat format. We'll do that this time and going forward. So each line by line, okay? Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam
Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtakihi
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopakumaraya
Nandagopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
So we are at the discussion of the power of the holy name. So wonderful discussion has been going on for many weeks on the holy name, and we have seen how powerful the holy name is from the story of Ajamila. And then we went through in detail through the 10 offenses, what they mean. And then I think last week we started another discussion on this topic on the power of the holy name, as requested by none other than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. So he is the name, or the name is him, he is the name. It's all interchangeable. From the Nam Acharya, from the Acharya, the supreme or the most superior authority on the power of the holy name, which is Sri Haridasa Thakura, who is an incarnation of Lord Brahma. So this discussion is occurring between these two most elevated, most greatest possible personalities, the personification of the holy name, which is Lord himself, and the Acharya of the holy name. So that is the discussion that has been going on. So now what am I supposed to do? I will share this screen. Okay, I will share in a second. So we are deep into that discussion. And last time we encountered a very, very important topic last week, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks Sri Haridasa Thakura that there are so many abominable people in this world doing all kind of sinful activities, and how will they get delivered? And Sri Haridasa Thakura gives solace or gives peace to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let me try and share if this all works out. So 1 second. I have to share from here. That's my intent. Okay. So first of all, Haridas Thakur begins by saying, Prabhu, chinta na kariba. Please don't worry. The devotee is telling the Lord not to worry. Usually the Lord tells the devotee, don't worry. But here the devotee is telling the Lord, do not worry. And he then gives the secret or the key to eradicating all the sins, which is none other than the holy name. And Haridas Thakur says, Yavana sakalera mukti habe anayase harama boli kahe naam abhase. So these Yavanas, and here they are being referred to as, lot of lowly class people that were present at that time, and they would speak the word haram, which is like not a good word. We have many other such words these days, sort of swearing words. But since that word is very close to or almost is like Hey Rama or Ha Rama. Ha means oh, Rama means the name of the Lord. So it is the holy name, Krishna. So it is, please come here, please occupy the center, and maybe those children can shift a little bit this side so you leave room. Mataji, can you make the children come this side a little bit so there's room to walk in? Parnika, come this side so there's room to walk in. Aarti Mataji, maybe you can make sure that there's always a sort of aisle to walk in. Yes. And even though they are not saying the name of Lord Ram by that intention, but they are saying a word which is the name of the Lord but has a different meaning, still it has the effect, still it has the power. So that is the point that is being made here. And this is called Nam Abhasa chanting or Nam Abhasa Kirtan. And then last week we discussed in detail, we went through all the 10 offenses and we checked off each of them to see how it is Nam Abhasa, not Nam Aparadha. Anything that is not Nam Aparadha is Nam Abhasa. Do you understand? If you are not committing any of the 10 offenses, any one of them, then it is Nam Abhasa chanting. So if somebody is taking the name like this, then it is Nam Abhasa chanting. So like this, we went through all the 10 offenses and we saw that how each one of the offenses is not being committed by taking the name in this manner. Now, we will start today's topic. Then we stopped at verse number 57. In verse number 57, the example of Ajamila is given by Sri Haridasa Thakura, where Sri Haridasa Thakura says, Ajamila putre bolaya bali narayana Vishnu duta asi chhadaya tahara bandhana. So the example of Ajamila is given that Ajamila putra bolaya bali Narayana. So Ajamil took the name of his son, not of Lord Narayana, of his son, whose name was Narayana. And as soon as he did that, Vishnu duta ashi, the Vishnu dutas arrived, chhadaya tahara bandhana, and they relieved him or broke off his bandhana. Bandhan means his, they were the Yamadutas had bound him with the ropes. So they cut off those ropes. Okay. Now, we will go into, hopefully we can finish the session today. If not, we'll go into third part of this discussion of Lord Chaitanya and Sri Haridasa Thakura. It's so beautiful. At least I found it very eye-opening for me. And I want to share that nectar with all of you. So 3 points we will cover today, mainly 3 major sort of, for me, they were like aha moments, eye-opening moments or eye-opening learnings, 3 key learnings. So the first learning is this from verse number 58. Everybody ready for verse 58? We had stopped at 57. Now comes 58. Okay, so let us see what is the learning here. Rama dui akshara iha nahe vyavahita prema vachiha shabda tahate bhushita. So what is the meaning of this? So we have to understand the word. This word will come at many places called vyavahita. Vyavahita means separated, or it also means taking the name in a either in a separated, some improper way, not in a proper way. Separation is one way of making something improper. Okay, you are following? So not properly, improperly is the meaning of vyavahita. Here the meaning becomes being separated. Okay. So Rama has how many akshara? How many syllables does Rama have? 2. Rama. Correct? So Rama, dui akshara. Do akshar. 2 syllables or 2 letters, so to say. Iha nahe vyavahita. These are not separated. Rama is not separated, right? They are together. Then we add the word ha to it. Prema vachi ha shabda tahate bhushita. When we add ha to it, it decorates it. Bhushita. Bhushan, we say abhushan. Abhushan means ornaments. Ornaments are meant to decorate. So bhushan means to decorate. So ha shabda tahate bhushita. So when we say ha Ram, it decorates the word Ram. Okay? Everybody following? So ha Ram is a very nice word to say. Hey Ram. That's what Mahatma Gandhi said when he, was shot, and those were his last words. Hey Ram. They are inscribed on his what do you call samadhi, or his cremation in New Delhi. There is, what is the name of his samadhi? Rajghat. So there we can.
Shantidam.
I think that
Rajghat.
Rajghat, yes. So there you can see the words Hey Ram. So this ha or hey word decorates Ram. Okay, so that is what is the meaning here. So Srila Prabhupada translates it as, the word Ram consists of two syllables, Ra and Ma. These are unseparated. Nahe vyavahita. Here we see, right? Nahe vyavahita. Not separated. And with love, we add the word ha, which decorates it. Prema vachi. With love, we say. Mataji, you are welcome to come this side if you would like. Can you see the screen? Okay. Or you are welcome to take one of those high chairs. Either way is okay. Please make yourself comfortable. Now, let us see. Okay. Now, let us come to the punchline. Very, very eye-opening, at least for me. Namera akshara sabera eita swabhava vyavahita haile na chhade apna prabhava. Are you following? What does it mean? Namera akshara sabera eita swabhava. That namera akshara, the akshars, how many akshars are there in Ram? 2. Those aksharas, this akshara sabera, all of the letters of the name, not just the word Ram, any name of the Lord, Hari also, Hari. And there can be many other syllables like Narayana. How many syllables it has? 4. That's why 4 Vishnu Dutas arrived. We had studied this when we were going through the Ajamil pastime directly from Bhagavatam. So many syllables can be there, but all these syllables, they have a swabhava. They have a nature. They have a potency. Tera eita swabhava vyavahita haile. Vyavahita, what did I say was the meaning? Separated. Haile. What was the previous word? Nahe vyavahita. Not separated. Now what is being said? Vyavahita haile. Even if they are separated, na chhade apna prabhava. Even if you separate them, the power is not reduced. Prabhava means power. Na chhade, it doesn't leave its power. Are you following? Okay. So this is such an eye-opening thing. And in the next verse, we will see, and we will come back and read the purport of this verse also. But let's go to the next verse. This verse is from Padma Purana. And this has been repeated by Srila Sanatana Goswami, who is the greatest, along with Rupa Goswami, 2 of the greatest acharyas in our sampradaya, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya. They are the absolute authority on Vedic understanding, on understanding of Shastra. If they have said something, that is the law. So, and Hari Bhakti Vilas is the sort of pretty much the law book for bhakti. And in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, this verse from Padma Purana has been repeated. So here also it has been said that how the holy name has the power and it does not leave its power. So let us read this verse. Nama ekam yasya vachi smarana pathagatam shrotamulagatam va shuddham va ashuddha varnam vyavahita rahitam tarayati eva satyam tad chheda deha dravina janata lobha pashanda madhye nikshiptam syanna phalajanakam shighram evatra vipra. Long verse. Okay, let me explain and decode it word by word, meaning by meaning for you. Okay, what does it mean? So I will do one thing here. I will okay, let me leave it that way, but I wanted to show the translation also. But let's focus on the Sanskrit verse from the Padma Purana. Namaikam yasya. So this nama, exclusively the name, nama ekam yasya, this name even once occurred, ekam, uttered. Okay, how? Or uttered or accepted, how? Vachi. Vachi means to speak. Or this word va that is here is a meaning of, denotes or. So vachi, spoken. What is spoken? Nama, the name of the Lord, spoken, or smarana pathagatam, remembered and reaches the soul through the path of smarana. Smarana pathagatam. Somehow it reaches the internal soul through the path of remembering, or through the path of hearing. Shrota mulagatam. So three things are mentioned: hearing, Shrota, speaking, Vacha, and Smarana. Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana. Any of these three. Shuddha va Ashuddha Varnam. Shuddha or Ashuddha. So you can see the word Shuddha and Ashuddha. Va or Ashuddha. That Va Shuddha means Va Ashuddha. Shuddha or Ashuddha, taken in a pure or impure way. And here it means together or separated. That is why in Chaitanya Charitamrita this has been included here. Whether you take the word Ram as together or separated. Vyavahita Rahitam, or in a pure way. Vyavahita means separated, Rahitam, without being separated. So either in a separated way or in a non-separated way. Tarayati eva satyam. Tarayati. Tarayati means tar jate hain. It delivers. And this is the absolute truth. Eva satyam. It is certainly the truth. All right. Are you following? Next. Tat ched. However, that name, if taken in an offenseful way, let us see what is the offenseful way. Deha dravina. Deha dravina means material opulence or some kind of sense gratification. Deha dharina. Dravina. Some kind of deha, bodily sense gratification. Janata. Janata means popularity among, like Janam. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. We say in Shikshashtakam. So Jana means popularity among people. Lobha means greed. Pashanda means pretense. Some kind of, external pretense, but internally you have a feeling of making money out of it or fame or anything, some kind of pretense or mayavad or other things. When taken in this way, what happens? Madhye nikshiptam. Nikshiptam means when taken in this way, in the middle of any of these ways, sense gratification, for name or fame, for greed, or for any kind of, other kind of personal profit. Na phala janakam shigram. It still bears fruit, but na phala janakam. Phala janakam means it gives rise to fruits shigram. It bears fruits, but delayed, late. Are you following? So it still bears fruit, even if taken with aparadha. So here we encounter the second important concept. The first concept, which will be re-emphasized in the purport, we will go through this beautiful purport which is going to follow. The first concept was together or separated. The second concept is, if you do it with a nam abhasa, then the result is quick. But if you do it with nam aparadh, you still get the result, but late. So that is the revelation that is happening here. Na phala janakam shigram. Okay. This is certainly the case. So let us read the translation by Srila Prabhupada. If a devotee once utters the holy name of the Lord, okay, so svacha, utters, or if it penetrates his mind, smarana gata, what was the Sanskrit there? Smarana pathagatam. So if it penetrates his mind or enters his ear, shrota mula gatam, which is the channel for oral reception, that holy name will certainly deliver him from material bondage, whether vibrated properly or improperly, with correct or incorrect grammar, or properly joined or vibrated in separate parts. It does not lose its power. O Brahmana, the potency of the holy name is therefore certainly great. However, this is the Nam Aparadha stage. The first was the Nam Abhasa stage. However, if one uses the vibration of the holy name for the benefit of the material body, Deha Dravina, for material wealth and followers, Janata, under the influence of greed, Lobha, or atheism, Pashanda. In other words, if one utters the name with offenses, this is the Nam Aparadha, uttering of the holy name, such chanting will not produce the desired result very soon. Shigra. It will not happen shigra, but it will still happen. Okay? Are you following? Therefore, one should diligently avoid offenses in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So therefore, avoiding offenses is very important if you want quick results. And the delayed results, there is no, I have not seen anywhere how much delayed. It could be delayed by years. It could be delayed by lifetimes. I don't know that answer. Now let us see the purport. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is simply quoting from Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas. So this is the purport, very, very important purport. So what does he say here? This verse is from Padma Purana, is included in Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.289 by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Therein, Srila Sanatana Goswami gives the following explanation. So Srila Sanatana Goswami has first quoted this verse in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Following? And then he has written a purport in Sanskrit. So what follows is the Sanskrit purport to that Sanskrit verse in Padma Purana in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Understood? So we will not go through the Sanskrit of the purport. Srila Prabhupada has translated that, and let us read the translation of the purport. So this line we are reading. Okay. This means that if somehow or the other, if one somehow or the other hears, utters, or remembers the holy name, or if it catches his mind while coming near his ears, if you are just passing by, somebody is singing Hare Krishna, and it catches the mind of the passerby. So that is, if it catches the mind while coming near its ears, that holy name, even if vibrated in separate words, will act. Remember, together and separated. Even when uttered separately, it will act. An example is given of such separation is given as follows. So who is giving this example? Sanatana Goswami. Not me, not Srila Prabhupada. Even Srila Prabhupada is the authority. But here we are talking about the greatest authority, Srila Sanatana Goswami. Anybody here who wants to say, I disagree with Sanatana Goswami? So let us see what Sanatana Goswami says. He gives an example. Suppose one is using two words, halam, riktam. Anybody is seeing what's going on here? Halam, riktam. What's going on? Halam, riktam. Now the syllable ha in the word halam and the syllable ri in riktam are separately pronounced. But nevertheless, the holy name will act. It will act, Sanatana Goswami is saying. Because one somehow or the other utters the word Hari. Halam riktam. Hari. Similarly, in the word Raj Mahishi, what is going on here? Ram. Raj Mahishi. Ram. Raj Mahishi. The syllables Ra and Ma appear in two separate words. But because they somehow or the other appear together, the holy name Ram will act, provided there are no offenses. This is a very, very important phrase. Provided there are no offenses. Okay. Now what the third paragraph Sanatana Goswami is describing, what happens if you do take offenses or commit offenses. So let us see. The holy name has so much spiritual potency. I'm reading this line here. The holy name has so much spiritual potency that it can deliver one from all sinful reactions and material entanglements. So that is there. But so what happens? The utterance of the holy name will not be very soon fruitful if done to facilitate sinning. This is what stage of chanting? If done to facilitate swimming, what do we call it? Nama Parada. So if you are doing the chanting to facilitate sinning, the result will still be there, but not very soon. Na shigram, na phala janakam shigram. That is the exact verse or the word in Padma Purana. Not shigra. It will still be there. So this whole para is also very important. The fourth and last para in this purport. The holy name is so powerful that it must act. It definitely must act. The holy name's power cannot be taken away under any circumstance. But when one utters the holy name with offenses, what happens? Its action is delayed. That is what happens. Not immediate. Although in favorable circumstances, which is the Nam Abhasa stage, the holy name acts. Although in favorable circumstances, the holy names of the Lord act very quickly. So that is the difference between Nam Aparadha and Nam Abhasa. Following? And that is why those who are taking the name Haram, even though it's like a swear word, as long as it is done in Nam Abhas manner, it will provide the results quickly or delayed. Everybody is confused? Quickly, because it is done in Nam Abhas. And that is the next line. Nam Abhasa Haite Haya Sarva Papa Kshaya. If done with Nam Abhasa, the holy name will Sarva Papa Kshaya. It will destroy all the pap, all the sinful reactions. Okay. Now a change of mood is happening in these next couple of verses. So what is the learning from this? What is the takeaway? That you should say the word haram. Is that the takeaway? Or you should say always, you should chant halam riktam, halam riktam, halam riktam, halam riktam, halam riktam. Huh? Is that the learning? Well, it still has the power. Hari, your end of the day, it's Hari. Or what is it? Rajamahishi, Rajamahishi, Rajamahishi. So should we change to our chanting to that one? Well, the power is the same. Okay, but having known the power of the holy name, so now the mood is changing. What Srila Haridasa Thakura is now saying is that, but you should chant the holy name in a devotional and worshipful mood, not in some other vyavasthita way, which means separated or improper way. That's not the instruction. It works. That is only to show the power, the ultimate, the so like unimaginable power of the holy name that is being shown. But that does not mean that you take to the common lowest denominator. The instruction is not that. The instruction is to take the holy name in a worshipful and devotional manner. Following? So let us go to the next line. So we'll just read the translation of this. This is another verse that is being quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Another, or arguably one of the most important literatures composed by, who composed Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Sri Rupa Goswami, the brother of Sanatan. Another, the dual sort of acharyas, the authorities on bhakti, on devotional service. O reservoir of all good qualities, just worship Sri Krishna, the purifier of all purifiers, the most exalted of the personalities worshipped by choice poetry. This is the line that I want to point out. Worship him with a what kind of mood? Faithful mood. Unflinching mind, without duplicity and in a highly elevated manner. Not in some kind of improper, broken up and separated manner. That's not the instruction by our acharyas. The instruction is to take the name in a way which is faithful, full of shraddha, unflinching mind, without duplicity and in a highly elevated manner. Thus worship the Lord, whose name is like the sun. For just as a slight appearance of the sun dissipates the darkness of night, so a slight appearance of the holy name of Krishna can drive away all the darkness of ignorance that arises in the heart due to greatly sinful activities performed in previous lives. So therefore, we must chant the holy name in a worshipful, prayerful, and devotional mood. And without committing offenses. Nama abhasa haite haya samsarera kshaya. Similar verse has been said here, that Nama abhasa, worshipful and no offenses. Nama abhasa is no offenses. Then samsarera kshaya, all the samsara. Samsara is what? The baggage that we are carrying, the entanglements of this material world. Samsara. Kshaya means destruction. And here comes the, if you remember the last verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when we were of this topic that we were discussing in the second chapter, this is the last verse. If you see here, Srila Prabhupada is saying this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 6:249. Second chapter, last verse. That chapter has 49 verses. Okay. And this is the last verse. And there also Shukdev Goswami was saying to Parikshit Maharaj that the learning from Ajamil story is not that you keep the name of your child as Narayana. Of course, you must keep the child's name as God's name, but and remember the child's name at the time of death. No, that is indirect. Even Shukdev Goswami is saying that you must take the name with Shraddha. So what is the verse here? This is directly, we had gone through this verse during our Ajamil chapter reading. Mriyamano harer nama grinan putro upacharitam ajamilo api agad dhama kim uta shraddhaya grinan. So what is the mean? Mriyamano harer nama. At the time of death, Mriyamano, at the time of marne ke time pe, harer nama grinam. What did Ajamil do? Harer nama grinam. Grinam means to speak or to take the name. But it was not the name of Hari as God, but Putra Upacharitam. It was Putra, the name of his child. And what happened to Ajamil? Ajamilo api agad dhama. He was put on the path to spiritual world. All his sinful reactions were eradicated, and he was put on the path of the spiritual world. That's why he went to Haridwar and actually performed devotional service. And then the same Vishnu Dutas came and took him away to the spiritual world. So he was put with a very cleansed heart. He was put on the path of bhakti. But the instruction is not to do like Ajamil. Kim uta shraddhaya grinan. What to speak? Kim uta shraddhaya grinan. What to speak of those who take the name Grinan with Shraddha, not with Ashraddha, or not as some kind of indication of the name of sun or something like Haram or any other, indirect way, with Shraddha. So that was the change of mood that is occurred in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. That yes, the holy name has power, separated or together, taken as the name of the Lord or as some other way. But the instruction is to take it with worshipful, prayerful, devotional mood, Shraddha. Kim uta Shraddhaya grinan. Are you following? So this is the last sort of verse of this part of the conversation. 65th verse. Namabhase mukti haya sarva shastre dekhi Shri Bhagavate tate ajamila sakshi. That in Namabhasa stage, when you chant the holy name, mukti haya, you are put on the path of mukti. Okay? And all the shastras, haya sarva shastre dekhi, all the shastras say the same thing. And the example or sakshi, the witness or evidence is what? The episode of Ajamila in Srimad Bhagavatam. Following? So Haridas Thakur is sharing with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all these points. And what is the situation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is full of ecstasy. He is so happy. Suniya Prabhura Sukha Badaya Antare. Internally in his heart, he is just so happy, so blissful on hearing these nectarian words from Srila Haridas Thakur. Punarapi bhang kari puchiya tahare. And then, for the benefit of all of us, here Srila Prabhupada says, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this from Sri Haridas Thakur, the happiness within his heart increased. But as a matter of course, he still inquired further. Now, many of us will also have this doubt. And I think one of the devotees My wife also brought up this point. So last week when we were discussing, and today when we are also discussing, we have this doubt. Okay, fine, haram. Okay, happens to be a word which is like, hey Rama, or has the word Rama, ha Rama. It is the calling out of the name of the Lord. What if somebody is not taking that name? What if somebody doesn't say even that swear word? Then what? Chalo bhai, they are lucky. Haram bol diya to chalo, by luck, haram. Narayana, like Ajamil spoke Narayana. Had he spoken something else, oh my dear child, instead of Narayana, then maybe. So they are lucky who say these words. What about those who don't say these words? Was that your question? So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to ask. So first he becomes very happy, and then for our benefit, because many of us will have this question, okay, haram, okay, fine. That's like understandable. What about those who don't, or who say something else? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, Prithvi te bahu jiva sthavara jangama iha sabara ki prakare haibe mochana. So he is expanding the question. There are so many Prithvi te bahu jiva on this Prithvi, on this earth. There are bahu jiva, so many living entities. Sthavara means non-moving. Jangama means moving. Iha sabara ki prakare haibe mochana. Ki prakare. Iha saba, for all these, ki prakare, kis prakar, by what means? Hoibe mochana. Mochana means deliverance. We say, no, sankat mochana. Hanumanji sankat mochan. Mochan means to relief or deliverance. To ki prakare hoibe mochan. On this earth, there are many living entities, the Lord said, some moving and some non-moving. What will happen to the trees, plants, insects, and other living entities? Okay. Trees are the sthavara, non-moving. Plants or trees, plants are all non-moving. Insects and other living entities. Now they cannot say haram. Have you ever heard insect saying haram or dog? What about them? And what about all those human beings who don't even say haram or any other similar thing? Okay. So Haridas Thakur gives the answer. So this is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's question. He predicted many of us will have this question. So he's answering. Haridasa kahe, Prabhu se kripa tomara sthavara jangama age kariyache nistara. That, my dear Prabhu, my dear Lord, because of your kripa, say kripa tomara, because you are so merciful, you have already arranged kariyache nistara. Nistara means you have arranged for their deliverance. How you have arranged for their deliverance? Let's read so the translation is, Sri Haridas Thakur replied, my dear Lord, the deliverance of all moving and non-moving living entities takes place only by your mercy. You have already granted this mercy and delivered them. And what is the answer? Can anybody guess what is the answer? How will insect or dog say Ram or Haram even? Hearing. Yes, that is the answer. So far we have been talking about chanting, offenseless chanting, Nam Abhasa chanting. It is all related to chanting. But can a tree chant? At least externally it doesn't appear. Dog also doesn't appear to chant, right? He does bhaw, bhaw, bhaw. Doesn't sound like Ram or Krishna, right? So what happens to those people or those entities? Tumi ye kari ache ei uchcha sankirtana. The key word is what? Here. You all got it right.
Sankirtana.
Ucha.
Sankirtana.
Definitely Sankirtana is the key word, but I would say the even more important key word is Ucha Sankirtana, means loud. That is why even Srila Prabhupada used to say, do loud Sankirtana. There are so many living entities. Maybe behind this crack here, there is an insect. What is the probability an insect is sitting here in this crack? Very high probability. So if we are chanting in our mind, he is not getting benefited. But if we chant loudly, he is getting benefited. He or she or it, whatever is the gender of the insect, I don't know. So you have loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, and everyone, moving or not moving, has benefited by hearing it. They have all benefited. So hearing has no less effect than chanting. So now those who are not saying haram, but they just hear the word Ram or Haram or any other word, Hare Krishna, they are also being benefited. And very nice discussion happens. So we will go through this part a little more quickly. So the translation given by Srila Prabhupada is, you have loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, and everyone, moving or non-moving, Jangama and Sthavara, has benefited by hearing it. Suniya Jangamera Haya Samsara Kshaya Sthavare se Shabda Lage Pratidhvani Haya. So if you go in a big forest, very dense forest, if you say something, hello, or better to say Hare Krishna, what happens? Anybody guesses? Echo happens. That is called Pratidhvani. Pratidhvani Haya. So Suniya Jangamera Haya Samsara Kshaya. So the Jangama, they are able to hear. Like, can you see that can you imagine a tree hearing? It doesn't even have ears. Jangama may have ears. Dog has ears. Okay, fine. So dog can hear. He cannot say, but he can hear because we can see that it has ears. What about Sthavare? What about trees and plants? Do they have ears? No. But they echo. They echo back. Pratidhvani Haya. So the translation is, my Lord, the moving entities who have heard your loud Sankirtan have already been delivered. So, okay, they are taken care from bondage to the material world. And after the non-living entities like trees hear it, there is an echo. That is the proof that they have heard it, because they echo back. Pratidhvani nahi sei karaya kirtana. Tumara kripara ei akathya kathana. Akathya kathana. A katha that cannot be spoken. What does it mean? Inconceivable pastime. Cannot be understood, cannot be imagined, cannot be, we cannot digest it. That this pratidhvani nahi se karaye kirtana. Now, how many of you honestly raise your hand are thinking, oh my God, this is now really going over the head? Or like, this is unbelievable. Trees, just by hearing, we see echo, and Haridasa Thakura is saying this is a kirtan of the trees. Don't commit that nama parada. If you think that way, that, oh my God, this is too much, hard to believe. Haridasa Thakura is, what did we say? Marketing. The benefit is only little, but बढ़ा चढ़ा के बोल रहे हैं. Huh? Arthavad. That would be the offense of Arthavad. All right. Haridasa Thakura is saying this. He is the Acharya of the holy name. and incarnation of Lord Brahma. So even the trees are doing kirtana. And actually, however, it is not an echo, it is the kirtana of the non-moving living entities. All this, although inconceivable, is possible by your mercy. So all this is the akathya kathana, inconceivable katha. You're following? Sakala, are we on the right one? Sakala jagate haya uchcha sankirtana. Suniya prema vashe nache sthavara jangama. That sakala jagate, all over the jagat, all over the universe, there is happening what is haya? Uchcha sankirtana, loud sankirtan is happening everywhere. Suniya prema veshe, listening with love. What are the sthavara and jangama doing? Nache, they are dancing. Whoever is hearing the loud sankirtana is dancing. Whoever is listening with love, they are dancing. When loud chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is performed all over the world by those who follow in your footsteps, all living entities, moving and non-moving, dance in ecstatic devotional love. And here Haridasa Thakur is going to repeat back the incident that happened in Jharkhand forest. How many of you know this incident of Jharkhand forest? Please raise your hand. You don't know? You don't know, Mataji? You don't know? Who else doesn't know? Do not know? Okay, very nice. Okay. So let us see what happened in Jharkhand. This has been described in detail in Madhya Lila, but reference is being given in Antya Lila. This is Antya Lila chapter 3. So what happened was, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this deep desire to go to Vrindavan. He stayed in Jagannath Puri. After his sannyas, actually he wanted to go to Vrindavan. He was, so to say, born, because Lord is never born, but so to say, he was born in Navadvip, which is in Bengal, West Bengal, north of Calcutta. So if you know the geography of India, Calcutta, and then north of Calcutta is Navadvip. That's where he was born. Mayapur is the name of the village within the Navadvip area. And after he took sannyas over there, he took sannyas in Katwa. Is that correct? Yes. Which is in Navadvip also. Then he wanted to go and live in Vrindavan. But his mother said that there is Krishna in Vrindavan and there is Krishna in Jagannath Puri. Same Krishna, she asked him. Mother of the Lord is also very smart. So she said, is there any difference between Krishna in Vrindavan and Krishna in Jagannath Puri? He said, no difference. Then she said, why don't you go to Jagannath Puri then? Please go there, because every year devotees go from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri for attending Rath Yatra. That way I will be able to somehow get your news. They will see you, meet you, they will come back and give me your news, because sannyas means he is going to leave his mother and all the other, relationships. So his mother was very sad. So she said, why don't you go to Jagannath Puri? That way I will get some news about you every year. Every mother wants that. So Lord said, okay. But he wanted to go to Vrindavan at least once. So this is the time he goes to Vrindavan, and not with a big battalion. First time he tried to go with big battalion. Everybody wanted to go with the Lord. Then he said, no, I don't want to carry a big battalion with me. So he just took one devotee with him. His name was Balabhadra Bhattacharya. As a servant, or he would serve the Lord, during his trip. So just these two personalities, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Balabhadra Bhattacharya, went to Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the Vrindavan trip. Now, if you imagine the geography from Jagannath Puri, which is on the east coast of India, right? East coast, Orissa. Jagannath Puri is on the seashore, isn't it? So he is traveling towards Vrindavan. So you have to cross the state of Jharkhand, today's Jharkhand. When I was small, it was all one big state called Bihar. And there is big forest in Jharkhand. As he was passing through Jharkhand, the Lord, of course, not just in Jharkhand, but the whole trip, he was just chanting the name. He was doing Uchcha Sankirtana, loud Kirtan, all during the trip. And it is recorded in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that in Jharkhand, that forest was there and all the animals started chanting. Even the tigers and the deers were chanting together. They were hugging each other and chanting together. Have you ever seen a tiger and a deer together? Huh? Very soon only one will be there. Okay, tiger. Deer is gone. But when the Lord was chanting, they were all chanting in full happiness. Even the trees were chanting, literally. This is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So by the chanting of the holy name, and here it is being mentioned that it was the power of the holy name. Of course, the Lord was present himself there. Now you shouldn't go and try this. I shouldn't go and try this. Don't go in the forest and just start chanting, because we are not that pure. It's not that the holy name is not powerful. Okay, but when Lord Chaitanya went, all the animals started chanting. So that is what is being referred to here. Yaiche Kaila Jharkhande Vrindavana Yaite Balabhadra Bhattacharya Kahiyachena Amate. That when you were going to Yache Kaila Jharkhande Vrindavana Yaite, while going to Vrindavana Jaite, you went past through Jharkhand. Balabhadra Bhattacharya told me what happened. Kahiya na echena amate. He told me this thing. What did he tell? So that is not mentioned here what he told, but he said he is referring to the Jharkhand incident. That all the animals and trees, the Sthavara and the Jangama, those who cannot speak as we can hear Rama and Krishna, even they began to chant literally. Then Vasudeva Jiva Lagi Kaila Nivedana Tabe Angikara Kaila Jivera Mochana. That when your devotee Vasudeva Datta submitted his plea at your lotus feet for the deliverance of all living entities, you accepted that request. So let me just quickly see here how long this is. And we are at 7:15. Okay, another few verses till 77, 74. Okay. So then, like this, Vasudeva Datta is a great devotee of the Lord. Very, 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 very great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was very rich. But he was such a great devotee and such a simple devotee, simple-hearted. All the devotees are simple-hearted. So that's not to say that there were some devotees who were crooked. That's not the point. But he was just extra simple-hearted to the extent that he would just give away his entire wealth to the other devotees and brahmanas and everyone. Entire, to the extent that he himself would be in a state of suffering. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then appointed, who did he appoint? Shrivananda Sen, yes. In the service, ki bhai, you go and just manage his property. Make sure he doesn't give away everything. Otherwise, he will suffer. He is so kind, so benevolent. Just make sure he is at least able to maintain his body. And there are so many great things about Vasudeva Datta to be said. But Vasudeva Datta, and he used to say, I am willing to take the sinful reactions of the entire world. All the living entities, let all their sinful reactions come on me. I will suffer, but you relieve them. The Lord did not let that happen, but he said, no, don't worry. I will liberate, or I will give the path to liberation to all the living entities. You don't have to suffer. I will anyway do it. Because you are saying it, now I have to do it. You have, so to say, put me under this. When devotee says, then the Lord, has to accept. There is absolutely no way he can. Whatever may be the demand the devotee makes. And in this case, he made the ultimate demand that let all the living entities be liberated. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, fine. So be it. Now, please don't take away the wrong meaning from this. Okay, bhaiya, hamara to I'm liberated. Abhi, chalo, done. Let's go do all the sinful activities because our ticket has been confirmed. Our seat is confirmed. We should not think like that. But that was the intention of Vasudeva Datta. And that is what Lord Chaitanya accepted as the request. So when your devotee Vasudeva Datta submitted his plea at your lotus feet for the deliverance of all living entities, you accepted that request. Jagat nishtarite ei tumara avatar bhakta bhava aage tate kaila angikara. My dear Lord, you have accepted the form of a devotee just to deliver all the fallen souls of this world. And what is the mechanism for that? Uchcha Sankirtana. Uchcha Sankirtana tate karila prachar sthira chara jivera saba khandaila samsara. You have preached the loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and in this way freed all moving and non-moving living entities from material bondage. So we will stop here and we will go into part 3. I thought we'll finish this today, but there is third part. But the instruction so far is what? In this last discussion, what is the instruction for us? We should chant loudly. Why? No, what is the first benefit by chanting loudly?
It will benefit non-living and other living entities.
Very good. The first benefit is we are chanting. So that is the main benefit of chanting. Okay, even if it is with aparadha, the benefit will be there, but it is late. Therefore, if we want quick benefit, then we should come to the Nam Abhas stage. I'm summarizing today's discussion. So summary is we should, as quickly as possible, try to come to Nam Abhas so that we can get quick benefit of the chanting, which is to eradicate all the sinful reactions. And we are firmly fixed on the path of bhakti. Then comes, so 2 points here, chanting, and then in the Nama Abhasa stage. And with devotion, with worshipful mood, not chanting like Harama or some other Nama Abhasa, but true Nama Abhasa with Shraddha. Oh, okay. Then the second one is Uchcha Sankirtana. Not only for our benefit, but for others' benefit. Okay? Because simply by hearing all the living entities, the mosquitoes and the tadpoles and the earthworms and the cats and dogs and trees and plants and grass, they are all benefited. Okay, so we must chant loudly. And the last point that we learned is that whoever hears, therefore, this chanting. So we must try to make everyone hear as much as possible. Now, thankfully, in this country, there is freedom of speech. First Amendment, everybody knows, Bill of Rights. So nobody can stop you from chanting. Don't be a nuisance. Okay? But at the same time, you don't have to fear that if I chant, your fear may be for your own inhibitions. I'm shy. What will other people think of me? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? So get rid of that fear. What will others think of me? Don't worry about that. What should be the biggest fear? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या होना चाहिए? क्या कहेंगे कृष्ण? That is what is real fear you should have. Fear or whatever, your intention to please should be to Krishna, not just to the normal people who you won't even remember after a few years or even few minutes. Don't worry about that. Exercise your right to free speech and loudly chant Lord's name. Okay? For the benefit of the other living entities. Now let us give a quick precursor to the next session. So is there any natural question that is coming up here? So this is the third and final question of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Remember, he has asked two questions so far. What was the first question that he asked? How will the Yavanas be delivered who are engaged in the himsa of Go Brahmana, of the killing of cows and the killing of Brahminical culture? How will they be delivered? Okay, that was the first question of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Haridasa Thakura gave wonderful answer. Then what was the second question of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Those who are not even chanting any type of the name, either Shuddha, with faith, or without faith, or in a broken way, Harama, or whatever other convoluted way, what happens to them? Or who cannot even chant? Trees, plants, animals. Unka kya hoga? What happens to them? That question has been answered. Okay. Now, third question is asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the third question? If everybody is liberated, then the universe will become empty. आपने तो सबका टिकट काट दिया, right? You have, sent everybody on the path of bhakti, isn't it? So who will be left in the material world? The material world will become empty, isn't it? Do you have this question? So that is the question that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks. Prabhu kahe sab jiva mukti yabe pabe eita brahmand tabe jiva shunya habe. सबको मुक्ति मिल गई तो ब्रह्मांड में शून्य जीव, कोई zero living entities will be left in this world. Can you explain the contradiction here or the discrepancy? And Sri Haridasa Thakura answers that discrepancy. Okay, that we will cover next time. Fair? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, or asked his question rather, if all living entities are liberated, the entire universe will be devoid of living beings. Then Haridasa Thakura gives the answer in the next 10-12 verses. Okay, so we will cover that next time. We will stop here. Any questions or comments, any corrections or any reflections any devotees have? We can spend 5-10 minutes on that.
Go to the part of the words.
And we will go online and in person alternatively. Yes, so Narottam Vilas Prabhuji is saying something.
So to the part of the verse where Devahita, the separated part will be discussed. There's a Purport by Srila Prabhupada talking what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur.
Yes.
Discuss about that.
Yes. I forgot that one. So that is, before this one. So it's a short purport, and here that the verse is Namera Akshara Sabera Eita Swabhava Vyavahita Haile Na Chhade Apna Prabhava. That these letters, the Akshara, not the full name, the Akshara itself has so much power that even if Vyavahita Haile, even if chanted improperly or in a broken up way, Na Chhade Apna Prabhava, it doesn't leave or give up or be devoid of its potency. The letters of the holy name have so much spiritual potency that they act even when uttered improperly. And the purport here is being quoted as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaja's purport or portion of the purport. So here Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati states that the word Vyavahita, improperly uttered, is not used here to refer to mundane vibration of the letters of the alphabet. Such negligent utterance for the sense gratification of materialistic persons is not a vibration of transcendental sound. Utterance of the holy name while one engages in sense gratification is an impediment, is not a disqualifier, but an impediment on the path towards achieving ecstatic love of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is basically giving the instruction that we learned later, that even though the power is not diminished, one should not just depend that we chant somehow the broken letters here and there of the alphabet. We should chant it with devotion and faith. On the other hand, if one who is eager for devotional service utters the holy name even partially or improperly, the holy name, which is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exhibits its spiritual potency because of that person's offenseless utterance. So he's talking about the Nama Abhasa utterance. And with some intention, here he says, one who is eager for devotional service, even partially or improperly. Thus, one is relieved from all unwanted practices and one gradually awakens his dormant love for Krishna. So here Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is describing how we aspiring devotees, we should have the intention of one who is eager for devotional service. He should definitely try to utter the holy name of the Lord without offenses. And if such a person is uttering in a broken way or in an improper way, he should continue to do that. And then what will happen? Krishna will relieve him. He is relieved from all unwanted practices. So the holy name will clean his heart, will clean up his material propensities, and he will be put on the path of bhakti. So this is basically the instruction to devotees who should intentionally take the name, but should not worry too much. Oh, am I doing it properly? Am I doing it with this? Continue taking the holy name. Just like Sri Rupa Goswami mentioned in the 7th verse of Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, that like a person with jaundice, he may not have the taste for the holy name, but continue to take the holy name, because the way to develop the taste is to take the name for which you have no taste. So to say, the disease is no taste. The disease is the cure, so to say. You're following? So that is the sort of my understanding of this purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Anything else online?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, with regard to text 59, the story of Valmiki Muni is one of the best possible examples. When Narad Muni approached Valmiki Muni, this was when he was a hunter, I think.
Yes.
He was so conditioned in that form that Narad Muni actually recommended that he chant Rama, but he was so used to the harsh words that he could not even chant Rama in that conditioned stage. But he was comfortable to say Mara, which is to kill, I think.
Yes.
But when he chanted that in succession, the word Rama would come up in succession. But although it was uttered improperly, but the mood was that he listened to Narad Muni and wanted to progress in the part of spirituality. It was still Nama Bhasa stage.
With not only Nama Bhasa stage, but with proper intention
Yes.
to make progress.
Yes.
Very excellent example. Thank you so much. Everybody heard that? Very nice. Thank you. Perfect example.
Yeah, Prabhu, Valmiki Mahamuni first chanted Mara, Mara, Mara. Like, that is happening Rama, 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 Rama. I heard that. That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, I am very happy to see you, and I heard about your this Krishna's consciousness, and very, very beautiful and wonderful speech, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Anything else here in the room?
Small comment about the part that trees are.
And whatever is being said in the room, I will repeat. So that if you, just in case you cannot hear, I will repeat.
When we said that trees are probably not able to hear, but plants are able to hear as a botany, from the botany point of view. There was experiment done when there were two plants, one with very soothing music playing next to the plant, another one the very rock music or something very harsh.
And that wilted.
Yeah, that one wilted and this one
flourished.
So there is something about the plants being able to hear. So they are able to hear when we are chanting the holy name.
So my wife is mentioning that comment that, plants do respond to sound vibration, and some experiments were done. And yes, so it's not true. Basically, the point she's making, it's not entirely correct that plants have absolutely no capacity to respond to sound vibrations. They do. But responding to Harinama Sankirtan is at a spiritual level. Rock music versus soothing music is material, but chanting the name of the Lord is entirely spiritual. Even if they did not have the capacity to respond to sound vibrations as a scientific matter, still the holy name would deliver them or would help them. Okay.
Sometimes when I go for a walk and I chant, I get this thought that whoever.
Yes, that's another very.
On my way who are listening, some portion of the Mahamantra are getting benefited.
Yeah, I know we had heard this in many classes many years ago. And so actually whenever I go for a walk and I see some I mean, there are living entities all around the place. Where are there not living entities? There is grass and plants, and even in the air there are living entities, all kind of, invisible living entities. So we should always chant the name, in some audible way. And we heard this in many classes many years ago, and my children heard it. And I remember that, when they were young. Now they have, of course, been grown up, and that whole shyness and what will people say and this, that comes up. But when they were little, I remember there were so many times when we used to go out and they would loudly chant Hare Krishna to, like, some insect on the road or some plant or tree. And, that was not hilarious or ridiculous to me. So yes, children are very innocent and they do it. But when we grow up, these barriers grow up. So we should somehow try to remove those barriers. And whenever we are walking or wherever we are, try to speak the name of the Lord. Do loud chanting.
That theme as Mati was talking about, we read in Bhagavatam, in third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, 29th chapter, 28th. Verse mentions this particular part of basic Muni explains about different senses for different entities. And Prabhupada in these two purports actually mentioned about trees having different sense perceptions, hearing. Just like we see light, sunflower turns towards the light. So different examples Prabhupada mentioned about the exact same thing Mati is talking about in the purport.
Yeah. So Narottam Vilas Prabhu here in the room mentioned how Srila Prabhupada is talking in a purport about same topic or same point, that trees respond to audible or oral input in the third canto. Okay. Anything else online? Okay, so shall we close the call? Yes, one question in the room.
The devotee, he has chanted or regularly or not regularly, if he has chanted, and to the end of life, something happens and he forgets Lord, say some accident or something. He gets.
Did you attend yesterday's Bhagavad Gita class?
No.
Okay, go ahead, complete your question.
Yeah, so if that happens, how would he be benefited?
Okay, so Mataji in the room is asking a question that somebody who has chanted the name of the Lord throughout his life, off and on or whatever, but here I think she's referring to the Ajamil pastime where he happened to take the name of Lord Narayana at the end of his life, which is so important. And in Bhagavad Gita also Lord Krishna says, Antakale cha mameva smarana muktva kalevaram, that who takes the name of me, Mam, at the Antakale cha mam eva, then he comes back to me. So there is this whole focus is on taking the name of the Lord at the last moment somehow. But we also discussed, the same question was asked by not only you, but by another very great Acharya, none other than Sri Ramanujacharya, and who is considered the, the giant, the Mount Meru, so to say, of Sri Sampradaya, to his guru. And through his deity of Lord Varadaraj, who is none other than Lord Vishnu, he received the response that if my devotee has chanted my name during his life, then even if he forgets to chant my name or remember me at the time of his death, Antakala, no need to worry. I will remember him. I will personally come to him and take him in my arms. So yesterday in the class, we were in 8th chapter, we were discussing this verse only, Antakale cha mameva. And we discussed two types of worries, healthy worry and unhealthy worry. The question that you are asking was categorized as the unhealthy worry, that I am doing all this thing. What if the end result doesn't come out the way I expect? which means all this, what I am doing is just for an end result. I am doing all this practice so that when the real exam comes, then I'm able to pass. So many times it happens, people do a lot of, that happens in material exams. You do very hard preparation, somehow the question paper is different or whatever happens and you fail or don't do as well. It happens in material world. In the spiritual world, it is slightly different. The healthy, so that is unhealthy worry. We have all the time, we have unhealthy worry in the material world. I am doing all this hard work. If my boss doesn't give me promotion when the time comes, then all this is waste. So our whole attention is on that one moment. The healthy worry should be, am I taking the name of the Lord nicely right now? The worry is not on the output. The worry should be on the input side of the equation. The output is whose job to worry about? Bhagavan. It's his job to worry. Hare Baba, he's doing such nice devotional service. Let me, when he is in his Antakal, I need to run to him. The Lord need to worry. What if I forget to go to him? That's his worry. Of course, he will never forget. He is the Lord. But that worry is not ours or should not be ours. Our worry should be directed on the input side of the equation. Am I doing good devotional service? Okay. So you must always focus on that and completely forget about what will happen when I am dying. Okay. Anything else? Yes, Mataji.
Story. At his death time, he said Narayan, and he went to the.
No, he did not. He was saved from going to Yamaloka or, going along with Yamadutas. But he was given a second chance. He was given 12 more years of life. And those 12 years he utilized perfectly. But go ahead and finish your question.
Yeah. If we name our kids or someone with a Lord's name, and if they do some mistakes, we shout at them in anger or something. So is that a sinful activity to scold or shout at the people named Lord?
No, not at all. The mood of, so the question is, if like in, I don't know I don't see the full connection to Ajamal's story, but the connection is that the name of the child is Lord's name. So Mataji is asking the question that if I named my child as the Lord's name, instead of Chintu Pintu, you name as Hari or Narayana or Gopal or Krishna or, so many nice names. Then if I scold my child, hey, Krishna, you're a very bad boy. Why did you do this? Then am I committing an offense by scolding the child whose name is? No, not at all. The parent's duty is to make the child a nice, well-behaved, Krishna-conscious child. What did Mother Yashoda do? We go home to home on Damodar month. What pastime do we narrate? What did Mother Yashoda do? Yeah, she beat him with a stick, or she ran with a stick behind him. Not only said harsh things, but these days if you do that, the police will come. But Mother Yashoda went beyond that. So yes, definitely with the intention of making the child a nice, well-behaved, Krishna conscious child. The consciousness should be very clear of the parent. And then, yes, you can definitely scold the child. And it does not mean that because I have to scold my child when you are naming the baby is still small. Every parent knows I will have to at some point or the other scold my child. Therefore, let me not name him the name of Krishna. That's not the right understanding. You should name children on the name of the Lord, knowing fully well that sometime or the other the child will commit, some naughty or some mistakes, and I will have to chastise the child. Okay, we will close it here. Okay, and we will continue and complete this topic next week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you, Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.